As a sports fan, I have to confess, sometimes the game gets kind of boring. That's when I unfold my Samsung Galaxy Z Fold 7 and use multi-window viewing on its large screen. Boring game? I'm checking out my fantasy baseball league at the same time. Score still 1-0? I'm replying to emails in the other window, scoring points with the boss. Semifinals finally getting exciting? I'm buying tickets to the finals and booking my flights. Can your phone do that?
The new Galaxy Z Fold 7. Get yours at Samsung.com.
This is CityCast Madison. I'm Bianca Martin, and here's what Madison's talking about. Today on CityCast Madison. Welcome to the Friday News Roundup. It's been a week full of contests and competitions, the glory of sport and elections. So remember, what counts is not necessarily the size of the dog in the fight, it's the size of the fight in the dog. Dwight D. Eisenhower. Speaking of those who've got that dog in them, the spirit of enterprise, my teammates, joining me today on the podcast is our newsletter editor, Rob Thomas. Hey, Tom. Hey, Tom.
Hey, Tom.
Hey, Thomas. Does that happen to you ever?
Tom Roberts. Yeah,
Tom
that's
Roberts.
my alter ego. Yeah.
I cannot wait to meet Tom Roberts. Does he have that dog in him?
He has that dog in him. Yeah.
And Jade Isiri Ramos. Hey, Jade. I know you've got that dog in you because you just won a title in these Madison streets in softball.
Woof, woof. I'm a champion of Badgerland Softball League.
Yes.
Excellent.
It's so exciting. Yeah, we're very sports-minded this week for sure. And thinking about contests, I'm kicking us off this week with the 2026 governor's race. We shared last Friday at the top of the episode that our current governor, Tony Evers, announced last week he will not seek re-election for a third term. This is after nearly 2 decades in public office for Evers. So him leaving the race means our state now has its first fully open gubernatorial race since 2010. So in 15 years. Now that's an open seat contest. So there's a bit more uncertainty of how this is going to turn out. A true contest. In fact, one national report, Sabato Crystal Ball, rated the race now as a toss-up between the Dems and the Republicans after rating it leaning Democratic back in May. So I know that we're all like, Governor is something to be excited about and also look forward to.
Yeah, this is a big race. This is like, speaking of dogs, this is our top dog.
Top dog in the state, for sure.
Wisconsin politics has been so chaotic that it's hard to be like excited, but obviously it's going to be a huge race. It's going to be a lot of national attention and, people wondering who's in, who's out, who's leading, a lot of jockeying for position.
Yep, jockeying. So much sports is happening. So there are a number of candidates from both parties who are already running, vying for the seat. So I'm going to share those. I got this from reporting from Mitchell Schmidt at the Wisconsin State Journal. So on the Democratic side, Wisconsin Democratic Lieutenant Governor Sarah Rodriguez was the first to jump into the race last Friday. Milwaukee County Executive David Crowley, he said that he will be moving to enter in the near future. And 2 Republicans, Washington County Executive Josh Showman and Whitefish Bay businessman Bill Berrien, are in the running. There are maybes, of course, the might runs, the might jump-ins. On the Democratic side, State Senator Kelda Royce of Madison, Milwaukee Mayor Cavalier Johnson, and our Attorney General Josh Kaul. So those are some big names there. On the GOP side, U.S. Rep. Tom Tiffany of Minocqua and Senate President Mary Felskowski of Tomahawk. What do y'all think? Do you have any inklings who might throw their name in the race officially from that list, or folks who are not on the list who might, join this race?
I've always been thinking that Josh Kaul was just waiting for it, But this list makes exact sense to me. I don't know if there's anyone on this list who I'm like, why aren't they on the list?
I always find it interesting, when people announce, is it better to jump in right away, like a couple people did, the day after? Or do you want to kind of hold back and build a lot of buzz about will he, won't he, before finally jumping in? So we'll see.
Yeah, I guess I don't really know what the advantage is. Maybe it's your characteristics too, or people have to sweep things under the rug and get a fixer. Anyway, I watch too much TV. But we did hear about who isn't running, former governor of Wisconsin, Scott Walker. He was kind of buzzing there for a minute because of some social media posts, kind of abstract, seeming like maybe he was making hints that he'd run. And he's like, nah, I'm going to stay focused on my current role as president of Young America's Foundation, which is a national conservative youth organization. But you guys saw that information popping up, right, about Scott or Mr. Walker.
Yeah, I think did he
show
post
some respect on his name.
Yeah, he was having some fun with us, I think. Or maybe he was flirting with the idea and then maybe got some signs that maybe that wouldn't work out well for him. Also, it seems a little strange to go back. I guess Tommy Thompson tried it, but try and go back to the governor's mansion. So I don't know.
I did want to add a little bit more context around that National Sabato report that said that the race is a toss-up now. The report is done by the University of Virginia Center for Politics in Charlottesville. And yeah, it looks like it might be closer than if the Governor Evers were still in the race. He'd have that incumbency factor. And now that that's gone away, it's getting closer. But even that said, the center acknowledged a lean towards Democrats at this moment, saying that when you consider that Democratic-backed state Supreme Court Justice Susan Crawford's win this spring, 10-point lead there. That was pretty big deal. So people obviously like to prognosticate on what might happen. It's a type of sport, you might say, reading the political tea leaves, including us, as we just did. Ha, 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 ha. It's a big ticket, the governor of the state. So y'all out there listening, who do you think will run? What do you think about the candidates who have already stepped forward? Leave us a voicemail. Call us at 608-318-3367. Get in on this fun or on this seriousness, all of the above. Give us your thoughts. 608-318-3367. We're going to keep this Friday News Roundup rolling. We're turning towards news at a bar that plays sports that we thought we were going to lose, but we aren't. More on that soon. But first, let's take a quick break.
Gatorade is the #1 proven electrolyte blend designed to hydrate better than water. So you can lose more sweat and raise your game. Gatorade, is it in you?
Hey, Fidelity. What's it cost to invest with the Fidelity app?
Start with as little as $1 with no account fees or trade commissions on U.S. stocks and ETFs.
That's music to my ears.
I can only talk.
Investing involves risk, including risk of loss. Zero account fees apply to retail brokerage accounts only. Sell order assessment fee not included. A limited number of ETFs are subject to a transaction-based service fee of $100. See full list at fidelity.com/commissions. Fidelity Brokerage Services, LLC, member NYSE, SIPC.
Okay, we're back and we're on campus now, kind of sorts. And there's a bar with some news, Rob.
Yeah, it's been a really strange week for Churchkey Bar and Grill, which is that place on University Avenue that looks like a church with those windows they kind of have the points on the top. But the reason being, it actually was a church. Like when it was opened in 1914, it was a Lutheran chapel, only for a few years, and then became a funeral home, and then it's been the Churchkey Bar and Grill for the last 50 years.
That is quite the history.
It is kind of crazy, yeah.
Yeah.
And I've actually never been there. It always struck me as a place more for students than for townies, and I moved here when I was in my 30s. Have you guys actually been to the Churchkey?
I'm guilty as well of having just, I guess, a townie on this side of it, but even having gone to UW, I kind of avoided that area just because lines outside the door or just, I don't know. I didn't always have the sports bar spirit.
Yeah. So on Monday, the owners of the Churchkey abruptly announced that they were closing and posted a heartfelt goodbye on Instagram. This isn't just the end of an era. It's a celebration of one hell of a ride, they wrote, which may be a little blasphemous for a former church to say it was one hell of a ride, but, probably just fine for a campus bar. And so, this was a bar that had been there for over 50 years and, tributes and remembrances poured in and, old alumni remember what they did at the Churchkey. And so it was very, very emotional. And then a day later, the Churchkey was resurrected. There was an article by Samara Kalk-Derby in the Wisconsin State Journal that the owners had changed their mind. And due to the outpouring of support they had gotten from the community, they were going to try and find a way to make it work. Samara's story said that the bar had actually been closed since late May for renovations, but they were planning to be all done and ready in time for the first Badgers game on August 28th. So it took Jesus Christ 3 days to rise from the dead, but only took the Churchkey 1 day. Boom. Right? I thought that.
That's a good joke.
That's a good joke.
That's a good joke.
Yeah.
I love this. I kind of think that, you don't know what you got till it's gone. And if you could go to your own funeral, would you? It's like they sort of did that,
home. Right. Yeah. So, yeah. It's kind of hazy what happened. Like the media coverage didn't really pin down like why they decided to close in the first place. There message on Instagram was really vague about that. And then when they came back, they said, oh, the public. But like, it is strange. I was kind of wondering if it was just they're in the middle of these renovations and we're like, I know friends who've had big home renovations and halfway through they're like, maybe we should just give up and move and leave this place.
They had to have faith.
Yeah, they had to have
faith.
Yeah, it's like
My
George
middle
Michael.
name.
Yeah. Whatever reason, it is truly a miracle on University Avenue.
What if it's a ploy? What if it was just like, let's get our name back in the headlights?
I'm having feelings because there was another business in Madison that did something similar to this. It was like a vintage business that they said that they were closing. And I was moved. Like, I was sad and felt like, oh no, we're losing this institution, and went and like even bought stuff from the store. And then the next week or so, it's just like, no, you misinterpreted the message of us closing. We meant like this, and they're still up and running. I felt betrayed. Like, I'm playing with your emotions, but also sometimes people don't know, but it does feel strange to make an announcement of closure and then be like, JK, LOL, we love you guys, so grateful. It's almost like, what is that? When you need a compliment, you're like digging for compliments.
Right.
It's like, I just really need you guys to tell me how much you love me. Yeah, such a pick me girl.
Yeah. It's sort of like the Eagles have been on farewell tours for the past 20 years and never seem to actually go away. When I first came to Madison, the Majestic was still a movie theater, and they closed, and they had their last night. And so I went to cover it, and but then they just stayed open. So I just kept going back to the next last night and the next last night. But the Churchkey was closed, so it wasn't like they could milk this really for anything it was worth. So yeah, it's very, very strange. But talking about restaurant openings, one that we can confirm is the Pink Flamingo Brunch Cafe, which had its soft opening this week on the second floor of 638 State Street. And from the photos on Instagram, it looks very bright, very pink. And the owners say they'll offer locally sourced twists on brunch classics, along with empanadas and an oyster bar, which is not something you normally see at a brunch spot, but it sounds fun. And then in good news for lovers of sweet treats, the Baked Lab, which is like a cake business that they also have classes on the east side, they're going to be moving to a physical storefront on Atwood Avenue. And this goes back a ways, but it's the spot that used to be Wong's Garden on Atwood. I don't know if you guys remember, but I used to live over there and used to go there a lot. And I think it's been kind of vacant for quite a while. So the owner says they're thinking of a place where you can pick up cake or a plated dessert or something like that, coffee, and they're hoping to get a beer and wine license as well. So I think those are both pieces of good news that places are opening.
Our scene just stays popping.
Yeah,
like it
right.
Truly, it never gets boring.
Yeah. And speaking of restaurants opening and closing, we put out the call for CityCast Madison listeners to tell us the restaurants they just can't get over that closed and they're still mourning, speaking of a funeral home. And we've got like dozens of responses. Like, this really hit a nerve with people. So we're still looking for your suggestions for, like, is there a dish that you just can't live without, that you'll never eat again? Was there a restaurant that like is associated with some great memory, like a first date, or where you used to meet with your friends or something like that? So leave us a voicemail or email us. We'll have the info in our show notes, and we're going to do an episode and a segment in the newsletter in the coming weeks about it.
Yeah, we're opening and closing all the time.
That's right.
And yeah, the voicemail, we want more. We want to hear more voices. I feel like we've got a good number of emails. We've got some voicemails already, but if you are brave enough, send us your voice memo, 608-318-3367. All right, we're turning to sports ball. We've got some real winners in our midst, in addition to Jade, in the games that play on diamonds and use bats. We're swinging into it, but before we do, let's take a quick break.
This episode is brought to you by Chevrolet. Chevy certified service technicians are factory trained to fit your vehicle with the tires specifically developed for it. And with our tire price match guarantee, you get the best fit for the best deal. Let us do the work. Available on select eligible tire brands at participating dealers only. Offer ends 12/31/2025. Terms apply. See dealer for complete details. Visit Chevrolet.com/service to learn more.
This episode is brought to you by LifeLock. When you visit the doctor, you probably hand over your insurance, your ID, and contact details. It's just one of the many places that has your personal info. And if any of them accidentally expose it, you could be at risk for identity theft. LifeLock monitors millions of data points a second. If you become a victim, they'll fix it, guaranteed, or your money back. Save up to 40% your first year at lifelock.com/podcast. Terms apply.
All right, Jade, sports ball queen, take us to the pitch.
Pitch it to us. I think that's the pun you were looking for. Yeah, I know yesterday in the August guide, Haley was our sports reporter, but today I am strapping on my cleats and bringing you the news circling the duck pond. So Madison's collegiate level summer softball and baseball teams have been putting up some big wins this summer. Notably, the Madison Nightmares softball team has secured the top seed in the league, which means that we will have home team advantage for the playoffs, aka the championship game will be happening here in Madison. Go Nightmares.
Woo! Yes! Did it on them.
All right, you guys ready to hear how the team has stacked up in this season so far?
Yes, definitely.
All right, so this is the second season that the Nightmares have played. It's also the second season that the Northwood League has had a softball league. And at the time of this recording, the Nightmares have 32 wins and 7 losses.
Wow, that's a great record.
Commanding.
Yeah. For context, the team in second place, they have 21 wins. So that's a more than 10 win lead. And third place has 19. So the Madison team is holding a strong lead in the league with a few games left still in regular season. They'll be playing for championship in a best-of-3 series against whoever is seeded second, and we won't know that for until the end of the weekend. They will have an away game on Monday, August 4th, and then a home game on Wednesday, August 6th, and another home game, if needed, on Thursday, August 7th. Do you guys sort of understand that? It was confusing to me at first.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, no.
Yeah, so they're playing one team 2 or 3 times, depending on the situation. And whatever the results are, this has been a really great season for the Nightmares, and fans will have a chance to root them on for the championship.
Oh, yeah, baby. We're going. It's happening. We're placing bets.
Yeah. And meanwhile, their brother team, I guess you would say, the Madison Mallards, the collegiate summer baseball team in Madison, has been putting up a good fight in their 25th season. We talked about that earlier this year, so check out that episode. We'll link it in the show notes. And at the time of this recording, the Mallards are defending a 7-game winning streak and are seeded second in their subdivision. They are in the subdivision, the Great Lakes West in the Northwoods League. Now, things are much closer for the Mallards and the Nightmares, so they will continue to battle it out for first, second, and third with the Wausau Woodchucks and the Green Bay Rockers. There are still 5 home games for the Mallards, including one tonight. So there are plenty of opportunities to go root for the home team, and the regular season for the Mallards ends next weekend. Mallards are doing pretty good, too. It's closer.
Yeah,
That's exciting, yeah.
So if the Mallards finish first or second in their subdivision, they will play in a 3-game series for the chance to play a single game for the Great Lakes Division Championship. And then if they win that division, they would go to play for the Northwood League Championship. And then if they are league champions, they head to Summer Collegiate World Series. So they have a few more steps than the Nightmares. Some good stuff going forward for our baseball teams.
Yes. Oh, my gosh.
That's really fun. I mean, I'm glad both teams have been pulling in so many fans this summer, and it's just so great that they get exciting games to watch and teams to root for.
Yeah.
So it's funny, Jade, you're talking about the thing. You're like, oh, I got a little confused about that, about like this team is going to play another team 2 or 3 times. That's also how baseball works. And I'm learning that as well. And I had that same sort of realization. So as we continue to wade into these sports ball waters, I have been watching the Brewers. And we got to talk about the Brewers. They're obviously the Milwaukee Brewers, but they are our state's team. And guess what? It is awesome to say that we, as the Brewers, I'm saying we the Brewers, are looking like the best team in Major League Baseball, which is wild, okay? Yeah. A week ago, this was one of the titles of an article from the New York Times Athletic, quote, how the Brewers became the hottest team in baseball. And the first sentence of that article was, quote, 2 months ago, the Milwaukee Brewers were going nowhere. So too long didn't read. They have turned it around and they're like shedding their underdog title because they are the team to watch. Naturally, we're recording this on a huge day for the Brewers and the whole league because it's the 2025 Major League Baseball trade. And people are they're looking at our players to poach. But as of right now, y'all, we are the #1 team in the National League Central, which is a big deal because it's like a top league, and we are ahead of the Cubs by 1 game. The Milwaukee Brewers have a 64-44 record right now. Speaking of learning things about games, I had to be told multiple times from my partner that it is not points. The Brewers they're not points, they are runs. So runs. There are no points in baseball. But I watched this Tuesday and had so much fun. Y'all, it is electric. The Tuesday game, one of our players, Andrew Vaughn, who's a newer player on our team, hit a crazy grand slam to help the Brewers defeat the Cubs 9-3 and secure a series victory. So we're looking so good. So there's so much to be proud of. And hell, we might make it to the World Series, y'all.
Wow.
That's
go
yet
Brewers.
to be seen. But yeah, go Wisconsin sports, go Brewers, go Mallards, go Nightmares, go haunting them. We are the teams to be talking about. And speaking of sports, one of our CityCast neighbors gave a shout out to another beloved Madison sports team.
Yeah, Ross L. says, shout out to Forward Madison Football Club. Things are always fun in the flock end, and the team has been performing better in the last few games, which go Flamingos. Let's see it.
Yes, I heard that. They're gaining some steam there. We've got more neighbor shout outs. This one's from Colleen M. She's shouting out Sequoia Library for serving much of Madison's West Side with many community activities for all ages, as well as a constant flow of books in and out. Go Madison Libraries, go!
Lisa C. Wanted to shout out Communication, a fantastic, sober, all-ages third space that hosts masks-required music and arts events. And Lisa wants help funding their moving campaign. So we need more third bases like that, for sure.
Very deserving.
Yeah.
And celebrating art here, right? Rob, you're going to end us off here with a really fun opportunity in the art
Speaking
scene.
of art, yeah. So if you have that old flannel shirt still in your closet from the 90s, if you have that peasant dress, if you can grow a goatee rapidly, your services may be required. There's a casting call out for a coming of age movie set in the 90s that's being shot in Madison, I think, this summer. The casting call sheet calls for several lead roles as well as over 20 extras, and they're looking for people who can bring 90s era hair and 90s era clothing. So that awful floppy cut that guys had in the 90s, you can rock that. Okay. I mean, awesome. Yeah. It looks pretty interesting. And if you have any cars that date back to the 90s, they were looking for you to loan them as well for the scene. So my 94 Geo Prism that I had at the time did not survive the 90s.
Yes.
Probably for the best. So unfortunately, I can't contribute, but that's pretty fun.
Oh my God. My sister definitely bought like a $500, maybe $1,000 Geo Prism in like 2006. I've never been more afraid in my life trying to get from Baraboo to Sock City.
2006. Wow.
But it was like, I felt very alive. They're cute cars, but that's a great throwback, the Geo Prism.
Yeah.
I would love to be a part of a 90s movie. Maybe we should all go out for the casting call.
I'm going to need someone to send me some clothes. I have nothing that even is close to 90s wear, I think.
I got some. I'm a hoarder. I still have all my 90s stuff.
Trying to remember. Yeah, I think I got rid of my Big Head Todd and the Monsters t-shirt. So but I can dig through the pile.
We show up and we're all looking 280s. Well, it sounds really fun. It sounds really fun. And to the contests and the competitions and the casting calls, it's an exciting time in Madison. Thanks, y'all, for rounding up the news with me this week. Rob Thomas, you're the best.
Oh, thanks, Bianca.
And Jade Isiri Ramos, you're the best too, champion.
Go CityCast Madison.
That's all for today here on CityCast Madison. I'm Bianca Martin, your host. We're produced by Jade Isiri Ramos. Haley Sperling is our executive producer. Our theme music is by Carl Christensen. Rob Thomas is our newsletter editor. Don't forget, you can always get more news delivered right to your inbox by subscribing to Madison Minutes. And another don't forget, you can support this show and get great perks by becoming a CityCast Madison neighbor at membership.citycast.fm. And if you enjoyed today's show, why not share this podcast with someone who likes a good competition? Speaking of friendly regional competition, y'all, CityCast is expanding and we're getting a CityCast in the Twin Cities. We love that, and it's going to be fun because there's going to be a little friendly competition there. If you have any interest in working for that team, y'all, they've got a number of positions available. Head to citycast.fm to learn more. Alrighty, see you back here Monday morning with more stories from around the city. Until then, have a great weekend.